Hi, and welcome to this Tempus University training video of viewing net availability in Tempus Resource. I'm your host, Beth Rosepal, Implementation Specialist at Prosymmetry. Today, we'll be talking about the net availability grid and how you can see where your resources are over or under allocated, and then determine any resource gaps from there. We'll be taking a look at different functionalities within the net availability grid to be able to configure different data points, including the net availability, of course, net capacity, deficit, surplus, and allocation for each resource. We'll take a look at a few heat maps as well as the impact assessment view to see the projects your resources are allocated to and then help make decisions from there. To start, we'll head to the Tempus resource home screen. And we're going to click into the resource management tile to access the net availability grid. This will be in the right-hand corner, so it'll be right next to that grid option. You'll select net availability, and that's where you'll be able to see a list of your resources and their current net availability. At the top of the screen, you're able to select a specific date range, especially if you're looking to see resources during a specific time period to determine their overall availability. To help make decisions from there, you can make that adjustment manually, or you can also choose from this dynamic option right next to that. It gives you the ability to select maybe the current quarter, if you want to look at the next 3 months, maybe the next 6 months, or maybe the next 3 years. It does give you some options so you're not just blindly choosing dates if that's easier. You can also look at the net availability grid in your different data points. So if you wanted to look at this in your allocation or demand data set, you can select those options. You can also choose between planned and actuals to see the information displayed differently there too. You can also choose whether you want to see this in a monthly view, day, week, quarter, year, fiscal month, quarter, fiscal year. It does give you some options as you can see in my screen. However, this list may be shorter for you. If you have any questions about that, please feel free to reach out to your Tempus admin. You can also choose how to see this information populate, whether you want to see this in time, cost, FTE, or FTE percentage. It does give you the ability to make those adjustments there. If you primarily work in FTE, maybe it's a little bit easier to see in the net availability in those numbers versus time. You have the option to switch over to that. You can also search within this list. So if you want to see a specific resource and see their overall net availability, you can search their name at the top. You can also include different filters. So maybe if you wanted to look at your resources in a specific department, you would be able to select that as a filter, be able to select which department you want to pull in. It gives you then a list of all your resources in the production department, like I've selected. You can also add in various columns like you can in most areas of Tempest. So if we wanted to pull in maybe the position role, we could pull that in to see which position they hold within the production department. And then if we wanted to group that further, just to make the information a little bit easier to look at and a little bit more organized, maybe we could pull in the resource managers um, and group by that. That way we can view that in a way so it's a little bit more organized for us. Select that as our option. We will be able to see all the resource managers Beth Rosepal oversees. We're able to see all of the resources that Larry Walsh oversees as well. So lots of good information to be able to categorize this and organize it in a way that helps make it make sense for you. And then on the left side, you're also going to see a few other options that you can utilize within this screen as well. So we'll notice that we're in the net availability option first, but you can also choose between allocations to see what allocations so far have been made on these resources. And if you click into the cells, that gives you that um, actual impact view. So that impact assessment view, excuse me, does give you the option to see, okay, they're 0.59 allocated. Where is that on their different resources? And then shows you sort of that 0.34, that's 57.4% of what's been allocated of their time that's been allocated so far. And you'll notice that these numbers add up to 100%, but ultimately just equaling where they're currently allocated. You're also able to look at their capacity, so to see how that's defined. This is especially helpful if you do have maybe some resources that have a different level of capacity, or it's defined differently for your resource. Maybe they're at their one FTE equals, a 4-hour workday versus an 8. This allows you to kind of see that from here as well. to help make further decisions. You can also look at overall project count. So if that helps you to know, hey, our resources should really only be working on 2 projects a month or maybe like 10 projects a year or something like that. You can kind of come in and see, oh, that's why we're behind on certain projects because, Julian's only working on 2 per month up until March. And then in April goes down to 1. So really helps you to determine, hey, where is the work that's being done, who's doing it, and things like that. You'll also notice that there's going to be some options to add in a heat map. So our simple heat map just offers you the ability to see that red and green view, green meaning that they're currently under allocated, red meaning they're over allocated. If you were to see any resources that were completely white, it means that they're 100% allocated. So they are at a place where they're not under, they're not over, they're perfectly allocated there. And then you'll also notice that there's a configure option. So this is going to be set by your Tempus administrator. So oftentimes, most commonly, we see the colors being used. Red, of course, means over allocated, green means under allocated, and then it'll be a yellow or maybe different color to show, hey, getting close to that over allocation. So really helpful there. That's just that config option, again, set up by your Tempus admin as far as settings goes. And then you can also view this information as far as seeing all of your resources, or if you only want to see your resources that are currently in a deficit, meaning they're over allocated, or if you want to see any resources that are currently in a surplus, you're able to see um, sort of where they currently have additional leeway to add on projects. The whole point of net availability really is just to give you that transparency into your resources to see where they're over or under allocated, determine where the resource gaps are, and make decisions from there. So that's the net availability grid. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to your Tempus administrator or your customer success manager. And thanks for watching. Have a great day.